Welcome back to the Z-Man Show. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down because today wait a minute, that's not right.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel.
That's better. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Z-Man Show. Today we're talking about Sonic Rumble. Rumble was announced back in May of 2024. It's a 32-player obstacle course battle royale game, and with a plethora of I can't do it. Gum. Bleh. And with its plethora of characters, fun-looking gameplay, and a chibi art style, it got tons of Sonic fans interested. But we had to be patient because at the end of the announcement trailer, it was announced that it was going to be coming later in winter. Well, it was May, but that's not that long to wait. I guess I can be patient until winter.
Oh my goodness! Squidward!
It's March! Technically that winter they did start doing pre-release early access, but only for select countries. What countries, you ask? I don't know what other countries there are. I live in America! Yeah! All I know is it's not here, and I'm getting antsy. But that also got me thinking, how much hype could this game still have? There really hasn't been any marketing since its announcement. All I've seen so far is the official Twitter account taunting me with all the special events going on in the game in pre-release. Now you could say since this isn't a mainline game, it's just a spin-off, and mostly it's just a mobile game. Mostly. It doesn't really need to be hyped at all. And sure, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not going to do much for the franchise, or Sega for that matter, but it's still odd to see them not trying to get people excited for the global launch. It reminded me a lot about what happened with Spider-Man 2 and New Game Plus. When Spider-Man 2 came out, it was received really well, for the most part, but one complaint it got was the lack of post-game content to play. While of course not every game has to have a bunch of stuff to do after you beat the story, the prior two Spider-Man games did, and Miles Morales wasn't even technically a full Spider-Man game. It was basically a midway point, and that had more post-game content than Spider-Man 2 did. So with not really having much at all to do after beating the main story, a New Game Plus mode would have been fantastic. It was announced before the game released that the New Game Plus mode wasn't going to be available at launch, but they also said it was going to be coming before the end of the year, and the game released in October. The end of the year came and went with no New Game Plus. But it finally did come 3 months later in March. At that point, the hype and buzz around the game was pretty much gone. But at least it was before they announced that they weren't making any story DLC and that they canceled a big multiplayer mode.
I really had expected better of you people. Thanks for nothing!
You're welcome.
But of course people still played it and enjoyed it, so did I. But at that point I had already 100%ed the game twice, since it really didn't take a lot of time to do, and moved on to different games. The Sonic Rumble situation reminded me of that, but it's still a bit different. Most of us haven't gotten to play the game yet, so it's not like we're getting bored of it. It'll still be a brand new experience to us when it finally does come out. But at the same time, having it announced back in May of last year, and letting other people play it while you're sitting there waiting, and then pretty much getting nothing about it for the rest of the time, and still not have an actual release date for the global launch, a lot of people probably forgot it even exists. Even me, a guy that sees Sonic's face every time he turns around. Sometimes forgets that this game is even coming out still. So what would that mean for normal people? I mean, other people. Who knows? Of course, there is still time, maybe before the global launch, for Sega to start hyping it up again. And if the game is really good and fun, and by the looks of it, it probably is, then maybe it doesn't need the hype anyway, and it'll be carried by its own credibility. Are you still excited for Sonic Rumble? Did I remind you that it exists? Let me know down in the comments section. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on The Z-Man Show.